What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Please continue to tune in throughout the weeks. Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday's discussion, and then Fridays about everything else, so non-cybersecurity related. But without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this first article, excuse me, is from CNBC.com, and it's titled "AT&T seeks to shed cybersecurity division," sources tell Reuters. Right. So AT&T Incorporated, right, which is the second biggest U.S. wireless carrier, which I would have figured at this point it would probably be T-Mobile. I figure Verizon and T-Mobile, but they say AT&T is the second biggest U.S. wireless carrier. They're trying to sell off their cybersecurity division, right? So they did an acquisition of Alien Vault, I believe was the name of it, 5 years ago. And what they're trying to do, they've been trying to kind of get rid of a lot of stuff, right? Because they got a lot of debt, like doing all this inquiring of things and whatnot. They just got a lot of debt that they got to get rid of. So what they ended up doing was, this was back in, I think it was like 2018, I'm sorry, 2018. They acquired Time Warner, right? AT&T did. So that was a $108.7 billion acquisition. So, but in the last 2 years, they sold a 30% stake in pay TV unit DirecTV. They got $40.4 billion in cash by spinning off Warner Media Business, Discovery Communications. So now they have Warner Brothers Discovery Inc. So yeah, they got a lot of money that's been going down, but who's paying for it now? Cybersecurity, right? Like this seems to be the answer to a lot of places where they're like, okay, well, we don't have the money or we can't afford something. Like cybersecurity is be the first thing to go. And that seems so backwards to me, right? Like this is what you should probably be holding on to, because this is what's going to be in demand going forward, right? I'll say this is what's in demand presently, right? Like we do the show every week. We're showing you why cybersecurity is in demand every week. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, they've been working with Barclays PLC, and they're trying to get bids for the cybersecurity business. Like I said, it's called Alien Vault, and they got it in 2018, paying $600 million for it. So they don't know what they could sell the business for now, but it is something that they're like, okay, we got to get rid of this. So what it was supposed to do, it was supposed to give AT&T their into helping out different clients, right? So they weren't just using it for AT&T to do whatever when it comes to cybersecurity. It was for other small to medium-sized businesses, to use Alien Vault for their cybersecurity needs. But yeah, they're not trying to do that anymore, because you got these other smaller startups, you know what I mean, that people are going to try to do that for them, right? And in this day and age, I'm not gonna say it's fairly easy to have a cybersecurity business. I don't want to say that, right? But it's a lot easier than what it was than for them paying $600 million to try to recoup their funds for that, right? So like I said, AT&T, they've been doing a lot of buying up of stuff, and they're just trying to shed debt, right? So they actually have a part in here where they say AT&T reduced its net debt by about $24 billion in 2022, and is seeking to reduce it further to about $100 billion by 2025. So right now they're at $132.2 billion. That was the end of December 2022. That's how much in debt they were. So they're trying to get rid of this Alien Vault. But like I said before, like this should not be what goes first. Like from this day forward, I'll say from this day right now, I won't even go to the past. Almost 3 years we've been doing this, right? I'll say from this day forward, cybersecurity should be a priority, but they seem to be getting the axe because they're just like, it's not profitable for them. But I think it's a little short-term thinking on their part. But again, I'm not a bean counter. I don't know if they're making these decisions to see what's coming in from it or whatever, right? But that's what they're trying to do. Get rid of this $600 million acquisition that they made 4 years and some change ago. So Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
So I've never been a business owner, right? So I can only speak to what makes sense. They have so many good businesses under their umbrella. It's like, how are you so far in debt? At least from my perspective, right? Like you have all of the Warner stuff, you have DirecTV, you have Discovery. It just seems like they made a bunch of acquisitions and they must have just bought high. and now they're just like, we got to get rid of them. Like all this stuff is starting to bottom out for whatever reason. But yeah, like I think it is short sighted. Like perhaps they could right the ship when like the DC stuff starts to become more popular again. Because then you see Marvel's making billions of dollars off of each movie as it drops, right? Or maybe they see the writings on the wall, and that's not the future going forward. I'm sure it's a lot of different things. The pandemic might have had something to do with it, but like what you're saying, like the cybersecurity uh, part of the business, like I don't know how they did that wrong, where they are unable, like I said, it's insolvable, or I'm probably using the term wrong, but
Insolvent.
insolvable. There you go. Like, how is that possible? Especially when you're working with corporate businesses in this respect. Like you think they would be generating money off of that as well. Yeah, like the article alludes to, like there's a bunch of smaller businesses that can do it cheaper. However, if you have corporate accounts, you think that would, keep lights on. So hopefully, as it moves from AT&T to Barclays, they don't lose too much. People are not going to be losing jobs in that transition from one to the other. I'm actually surprised Barclays is even in the running. Like I know they have a very diverse portfolio themselves, but a lot of these companies, you'll see certain subdivisions underneath them. You'll be like, oh, I didn't know they had that. Like I didn't know that was one of their companies. So we'll be interested to see how Barclays takes that and then runs with it, because they're an international bank, from my understanding, right? Like I only know the banking side of it, but I understand that they probably have a lot of other companies like Sony. Like Sony is a bank, TVs, video games, like the gamut of different companies. So I can see it. I just don't know how badly it'll be beat up as it transitions from one to the other. But hopefully Barclays takes it and makes it more robust and does something with it, because AT&T is going to do nothing but shrink it or merge it or whatever they plan on doing, right? Like they're doing with Discover, and Warner is kind of weird as well. And they're canceling shows like to save money, right? Like that's the thing as well. Like so they're going through their portfolio, and they're doing a great job reducing their debt. But I mean they're getting rid of assets that I think would pay dividends in the future. But again, I'm not a business owner, so especially not a multi-billion-dollar company, right? That has almost $200 billion in debt. So,
and the thing is, here's what kind of gets me with this, right? So they mentioned this in the article, and I was like, they talk about Moody's Investor Service, right? So Moody's gives you like credit ratings and whatnot, and they're doing this. So let me read this properly, right? So credit ratings agency Moody's Investors Service Incorporated said in a note on Tuesday that paying down debt was central to AT&T's ability to invest in fiber and 5G wireless technology while continuing to afford paying out a dividend. So they're looking into paying out a dividend because they were shareholders. Like, if you do this, right, you keep having this sell off of stuff, like you're going to scare the shareholders away, right? They're like, why did you make these bad business decisions? I don't have faith in you going forward.
right.
I may not even get a dividend when the end of the year comes around, right? Like I don't anticipate you're going to do right by me when it comes that time, or every quarter, right?
Right. Well, maybe it's the whole mindset behind bonuses, right? Like, oh, you'll stick around for the bonus. Like, you're not going to jump ship before you get your dividend. And if I keep giving them to you, I just keep, that's the carrot, right? I just keep you moving along, because like, oh, you're still paying. Like, even though you're doing some weird stuff in the background, but I'm still getting my dividend check.
But the ones that have the confidence in you and that are paying into it, so like if it's our little bit of money, that me and you may get from them, like they could probably care less about that, right?
Right.
If Warren Buffett stops investing and he knows what he's looking at, if he's looking at you and he says, yeah, I don't want to invest in AT&T anymore because of this, that, and the third, right? I don't trust. Warren Buffett goes away, a lot of other people go away, right? So like if the Warren Buffett's like what, the sixth richest man in the world or whatever, like if he he steps away, and I'm using him as an example, I'm not saying for sure he's an investor, but
right.
Those big time ones, they're going to lead everybody out the door with them, right? It's like one of the, I can't remember which one of the Oceans movies it was, 11, 12, or 13, where they had the rich guy leave and everybody go with him, and then try to go back. I think it was 13.
I think it was 13.
Yeah, it was Pacino. So same type of thing, right? The rich guy leaves, everybody's like, oh, well, if he's not putting his billions in there, I'm not putting my millions in there, right? Not putting 100,000s in there, and then I can't put my tens in there. You know what I'm saying?
My tens of dollars.
Yeah.
That's true. Like I just don't know. Like but they're doing whatever they're doing. But yeah, it's a shame because I can the writing's on the wall, right? Some people may lose their jobs as they shrink or change or transform or what have you. But maybe Barclays takes it and makes it more robust. Maybe they have a solid plan moving forward. I just don't know. And then they didn't want to talk about it anyway. They're like, that's none of your business. They're like, no comments will be made upon this, but we'll see what the future holds. I'm definitely going to keep track of it only because I'm interested in AT&T because of the Warner Brothers Discovery thing that's happening currently. Like you just see shows just dropping off HBO Max to save money. Like they don't have to pay these people royalties and things of that nature if they just drop the show or no longer have it in the catalog. So they're doing their thing. Just I don't particularly like it, especially in the media section. But now they're attacking my cybersecurity too. Like they're on the warpath. But please continue to tune in. Again, Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday's discussion, which I think it'd be pretty interesting. It's like a 180 from a previous couple weeks ago. And then Friday, we talk about everything else, movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So stay safe, stay secure.